Yeah. And what branch of the service were you in?
Army.
Army.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're up to.
Well, my dad's a Storm veteran, and like I mentioned earlier, that when I got my 100% rating, I want to give back to other veterans because I know the struggle they deal with, and I believe the idle hands are devil's playground. I'm not opposed to people taking medication, but there are alternative methods of dealing. You know, maybe putting a guitar in their hands or a paintbrush or drawing. So that's really my main focus drive is can I help another veteran out? You know, maybe. So if I look back, like when I used to teach guitar lessons, I've had them come back to me a year or two later and say, you know, they really learned a lot, and that just that pride, knowing that they're taking off with it. So I need to play that to the veteran level.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever did you ever lose it for a bit? You know what I mean? Like, you've been a guitar player for a long time, and you've probably drawn for a long time, right?
Yeah, I've drawn it since started both when I was about 9 or 10 years old. But now looking back over my life, you know, you can see there's periods of times when I drew more, and there's periods of times that I didn't draw any at all. And I'm trying to figure out why. You know, what would happen during that lifetime, during that span that I didn't draw or play. And like I said, it's one of my darkest moments in my life, you know. And I was like, well, maybe if I draw and play more, it won't be so dark. So that's what I've really been doing a lot more lately when into the arts and music. So I won't look back and say, it was such a dark place then. No, it wasn't, because I made the light. Does that make sense?
How does it help you? How does your art help you?
Well, a lot of times people, they get so caught up in depression. I'm one of them. You know, I have anxiety. Sometimes I talk too fast, or I get, it takes you to sit down and concentrate, whether you're working on a drawing or whether you're working on a chords, whatever. Is you got to concentrate on what you're doing, and you can't rush it. You know, if you want a good art, you got to take time, and whether you're working shading or coloring or whatever. So it forces you to breathe. And it forces you to relax because you have to focus on what you're doing. And even if you're a mechanic, whatever it is, you try to rush it, your car's going to get fixed. You know, so whatever it is. So that's the main purpose is find a way to relax. That makes any sense, I hope.
And if I ask a question you don't want to answer, just tell me to go to hell or something. You know?
Okay, all right, okay.
Because war is hell. And a lot of guys are going through what you have, and what is it that's helping you, through your art?
Well, you know, you talk about the war. Everybody's got their own stories, and I've got my own, you know, what I saw. And I could say those that don't remember, don't know, look it up. The images of the Highway of Death. There are some people who can look back and recall it because they was the ones that created it. You know, whether there be a tanker or whatever the case might be. But I was a support battalion. You know, when I first signed up to the military, it was during peacetime. I wanted to go in and get my 4 years, whatever, get out, get my college degree. I wasn't a gung-ho, let's go fight the bad guys type person. So when we got called as a storm, I was like, I didn't want to go. You know, that's what you sign up for. No, but okay. So we went through the Highway of Death. I mean, I was driving a Deuce and Half, which I don't know if they still have them or not, and bodies everywhere. Smell of death is just unbearable. You just can't get that out of your nose. And you don't really realize how fast life is over. So what even now is you say, what can I do and I take that approach when I look at helping other veterans. What can I do to make their light shine, their life important? Because life is so brief. You know, it ain't what we take with us when we leave this world, because we don't take anything with us. It's what we leave behind. And if I can leave behind a smile, or somebody say, hey, he's helped me, then I left behind some type of legacy. And that's what we do as parents. We want to leave behind some legacy that we help somebody else. And that's my main purpose. Mm-hmm. That answers your question. I hope it does.
Yeah, that does. Because there's a lot of I'm not a veteran, but I've done many, many stories on veterans, from World War II all the way up to Afghanistan, and there's a lot of hurt out there. How, when you are drawing or playing guitar, that kind of draws you out of that
Yeah,
a little bit.
it draws you in. It's kind of like the moment in time, whether you're drawing or music or whatever creative art you're in, you can forget about anything else. I never done drugs, but I can when I hear stories people who do, I can kind of relate to having a high. I mean, I don't know, but I can relate to say, okay, if you're on a high and you forget everything, okay, similar to what I'm doing in my drawing, but it's a natural. It's you're building confidence in yourself, and hey, I'm getting this. This looks pretty good, whatever it might be, or this sounds pretty good, or so you for that moment in time, whether it be a song or a drawing, nothing else exists except you and that piece. Does that make any?
Yeah.
So.
And I wouldn't say pretty good. I think you're damn good.
Well, thank you.
What got you into the comic book characters, drawing those?
Well, my mom watches this; she's gonna get mad. But when I was a kid, growing up in the '70s, we didn't have TV like we got now. We had 3 channels. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Oh yeah.
4, 5, 13, where I was from, CBS, NBC, and ABC. If you're lucky, you get PBS. You turn the antenna just right. But Saturday morning cartoons that's it, from I think it was like 6 to noon or something. But so the biggest thing we had was comic books. Whatever money I'd used for allowance or doing chores, I'd go get my next collection, my next comic book of Batman or whatever it was, I don't know. And I always admired the artwork, the bright, brilliant colors. And this was back in the 70s, it was 35 cents a piece, And it's like, and so I sat there and tried to draw them when I was a kid, trying to draw my favorite character. So I took art all 4 years in high school, and it went more toward realism, as you can see on the walls back here. But in 2015, I finally decided, you know what? When I was a kid, my mom threw all my comic books out in the yard, and they got ruined because I wasn't doing my homework. Literally, my whole collection's gone.
Oh no.
And I look on the comic book review what this comic book would hold. Some of them's worth thousands of dollars now.
Yeah.
If you mint condition, whatever. And I was like, well, 2015, I said, you know what? I'm 48 years old now. I want to draw comic book characters. Who's going to stop me now? Come on. So I started back again. I thought, this is not bad, because realism, you got to get the portrait right, whoever you're drawing. And when you draw comics, you can get close. And then people recognize an outfit, or they'll recognize the. I thought, I like doing this. It's easier. I can get done one every 2 or 3 days done, and people recognize the person. So I thought, well, I can continue doing that. That's how I got started back in the comic books again.
When, say for other vets out there that are kind of just hidden, closed off, and they don't think that drawing or guitar could help them, how would you get them to say, hey, give it a shot, man? Try it, even if it's a stick figure.
Yeah, well, I can say a lot, because I think there's, again, this is opinion, I think there's 2 different type of people, like an introvert and extrovert, and I can relate to both. And I'm gonna say in the stereotype, hand-drawn artists, painters are more introverted. I'm not saying it's generally a rule, it's not.
Yeah.
And when the musicians are more, of course, they have to perform in front of people. They're more extroverted. They're more outgoing. So by focusing on both, I can focus on that shy person. Even if you just want to play guitar in the back porch with your family and friends, and you don't want to get any further, you just whatever. I'll take you there. I'll help you, hold your hand over there. If you want, I played in Nashville. I played in the National Veterans Creative Arts. So if you want to gear towards a professionalism, I'll help you get there. Wherever your goal is, your destination, we might ride together for a while. We might get off at different exits. But wherever your goal is, I want to help you get there. And if you just say, well, I don't know if this worked for me, like you said, we don't know unless we try. And if you have a desire, say, I really want to play that song, I'm going to show you how. If you don't take it any further, okay, You know, if you get off the next exit, that's fine. You enjoy the ride for a little bit. You know, if you want to draw, like you said, maybe they can't draw a stick figure. I've shown people who has shaky hands. You know, they can't help it. You know, whatever. And I'm right-handed, so I've taken my left hand, my submissive hand, and I've shaken it just to draw a landscape. And I said, look, if I can do it left-handed and I'm right-handed, when my hand's shaking, you've got no excuse. And people are like, wow, I could do that. And that's all you need to do is just show them that they can. And once they realize that they can do it, they will. They'll do it. People will surprise you.
And one of the things you're trying to do right now, because you're just starting this, you're just pretty much trying to do these classes, right?
Right. Yeah, just starting. Yeah.
How are people going to get a hold of you and in contact with you to do this? And you're trying to do it for free too.
Right. And of course we're starting here at Grand Rapids, but it's got to start somewhere, you know. And I've got several Facebook groups. I've got a veterans, artists, musicians groups. I go to a lot of different veteran groups here locally. You know, and I spread the word. I'm trying to find a place that will allow me without charging me rent, because if I'm doing it for free, I can't afford to just pay rent for a building and I'm not getting any money in. To where veterans can take it now. With the Veterans Creative Arts page I also have on Facebook, we're also promoting other veterans. So they can see not only we're promoting the veterans who are already in the creative arts, you know, whether or not they're a National Veterans Creative Arts finalist or not. Hey, if you can draw, you can paint, you can do mold, or whatever it is you do, we want to help promote you. Mm-hmm. And once they see that we're backing them, then there might be other veterans out there that are watching. Okay, hey, they're promoting this veteran or this one. So they feel like, I'm gonna get there. You know, people really want to succeed, and if they see other people succeeding, they want to do that. So the biggest thing right now is word of mouth. You know, through you and through the local vet group therapies, and like I said, the Facebook groups, and of course my number. If anybody want to call me, they call me up for anything. Say, Bill, I need a ride. I'm there. You know.
Why is this so important to you?
I know that myself. There are days I don't know. I wouldn't know how to make the day without my art or music. You know, if I have time to think about not drawing or music, like I said before, there's times in my darkest period of my life that I didn't draw. I don't look back at too many of those anymore. You know, and it's like, okay, I know this works for me. I don't think I'm any different than anybody else. You know, if we get cut, we bleed. You know, and if it works for me, it may not work for everybody. It might work for about 2 out of 10. But hopefully I'm focusing on those 2 people, you know, whatever, that wants to join it. Maybe it might work for them. We don't know until we try it. And if they can come back and say, you know what, and because I guess the main focus is there's 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Average 22. And I can't knock it down to I can't knock it down to 0. I don't think it's possible. You know, possible. But if I can prevent one, and they come back a few years later to tell me, hey, I want to thank you for the classes. I was at the point of just, you know, whatever. Then I can say, you know what, that's my therapy. I don't need medication because I'm helping, giving back. And that gives life back to me again. You know, being certified through the No Child Left Behind Act as an assistant school teacher, I love teaching. You know, I found that's my calling. And I've had people come back to me after a couple years after their courses in through me, and they come back and thank me. And that's all I need, you know, just great. I mean, affected their life somehow. You know, if that makes any sense at all.
It does, total. I'm going to switch gears a little bit into your guitar playing.
Okay.
What kind of a vortex, or what do you get into when you're playing that guitar and singing?
Well, I used to run karaoke for many years, and I found that, you know, like with anybody else, people who just go to karaoke, they don't care. They just sing a song just because they like the song. But I try to focus where's my voice fit at the most. Because if I wanted a song, I want it to come across as close as original. And I'm finding a lot of my songs are geared more toward the Johnny Cash era. I can do Johnny Cash, Elvis, Waylon Jennings, the old country, and that's where my voice is comfortable at. Try to sing